Live night news. If you're a lot like me, then you might not like you. This is another episode of Hours of Clarity podcast. I have a friend from Brentwood Recovery Home, someone that I met through the social committee, and since I came to Windsor, Ontario, I've had interactions with this woman. She's a wonderful person. Could you introduce yourself?
Kiwana, aka Q.
Right.
My family in the streets know me as Mookie.
All right. So let's kick this off. I had a pleasure of meeting you at Brentwood and seeing some of your growth throughout time that you've been here. I've watched you, come from a bit of your struggle and to where you're at now and going through school and being an addictions worker. Just wanted to get a bit of your story as to, what led you to recovery, maybe some of the struggles, trials and tribulations, a little bit of the triumphs, adversities you had to overcome, and just a bit about yourself. And we'll start from wherever you want.
Okay. I was born, raised, and breeded in Windsor.
Okay.
From downtown, east side to west side, all over. I was raised by just my mom.
Yeah.
My dad was American. He was from Sweetwater, Tennessee.
Okay.
I don't know why I love saying that. I love when it rolls off.
It's a southern accent. Yeah. Sweetwater, Tennessee.
And you know what? Growing up, a lot of people thought I was American just by the way I sound, but I just been over there a lot,
Yeah. And you adapt those accents.
Travel back and forth across the border. But I was raised up just by my mom, and around the lifestyle, related to drugs and alcohol.
Right, yeah. Would you say that your mom has alcoholic tendencies as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My whole entire family. A lot of people in my family do. I won't say my whole entire family, but a lot of people in my family. So I've seen a lot growing up.
Of course.
But the thing that I feel like was one of the things that were most discouraging for me was the fact that I was like, I wasn't ready to hear or listen to anything they had to tell me.
Of course not.
Because I judged them by the way they lived their life.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Well, you're one to talk.
That's that monkey see, monkey do kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And I thought they had a lot of nerve. You have a lot of nerve. Who are you to tell me what I should and can't do?
Right.
I look back at that at hindsight, and now knowing everything I know today was like,
that was
they walked this walk before me, so they had a lot of insight to give.
Right.
And a lot of advice to share with me. But I was already not teachable at a very young age.
Closed up. When do you think that happened? Can you see it now, looking back?
Yeah. I was just really insecure as a kid.
Yeah.
Jealous. Always in fantasy of wanting a different life.
Yeah.
And my mom was great at buying me anything and everything,
Right.
And that helped out a lot because I was I judged myself on the way I dressed, on the apartment that we had, and having to move from place to place, always in judgment of all that kind of stuff. So my mom buying us everything was great, and my mom was on assistance our whole life, but she used her money pretty wisely with her own struggles in life.
Right.
She had her own struggles in life too, but used her money pretty wisely with us, right? So you would say I was really truly blessed.
Well, seeing it from one side of the perspective is easy looking back, and hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Yeah.
You can see it now, but growing up, that jealousy, that fantasy, that envy, all that stuff that we play the blame game, it's we learn that here. It's self-pity, getting stuck in that woe is me kind of attitude, and it just keeps you at a certain point in your life there's no growth, right?
Yeah.
So you find that you're stuck in this realm until you start using. What age do you think?
But also too, just before I get to what age did I start using, because I still have a hard time breaking that part down. But just before I get to that, that being in that self-pity part, that woes me part, right, was okay if I just opened up to somebody about it.
Right. Had the
because
courage
there's
to
still
talk.
feelings and emotions that I experienced. I just held that shit in.
So do you remember say in school or throughout a sporting event or hobbies or something, coaches, teachers, guidance counselors, anybody that could have tried to?
Yeah, even aunties.
Right.
Yes,
yeah,
I had
family
aunties,
members,
uncles who were there for me, who would have helped me, who would have listened to me. But I wasn't ready to share any of that stuff.
Yeah, stubbornness, bitterness.
Yes. Yeah. So I started to, I was a drinker, right? So, but I would turn it off during, I would go out with my friends to the club.
Right.
And then I know it was excessive when I started going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, and they're only doing Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I started dabbling into cocaine.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know what? I wasn't addicted to it. It wasn't this urge to keep doing it. But when I do it, I do lots of it.
Yeah, we can't do nothing in moderation.
Yeah, nothing in moderation.
See, other people can function somehow with a couple of drinks, maybe a line on Christmas or I don't know what day they pick, but the day of, and it's they shut it off for the rest of the year or whatever. They can function throughout life. pay their bills, not me.
Not me.
Yeah, it was never
Not
like that.
me.
So as that started to grow, like when did you find that, like, was it the alcohol in there?
No, because it was alcohol, ecstasy, cocaine. Okay.
Yeah.
Never ever felt like I was an addict, an alcoholic, or none of that.
Right, but how old were you when
But
you
I
tried
knew that things were, I was experiencing more and more, trying more and more things, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just having a taste for something else.
that addictive personality?
Yes.
Yeah.
And somebody would put anything in front of me, yeah, I'll try that, girl, here.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, what's the harm?
And I had my first son at 16.
Okay.
16 and pregnant, right? And,
That must have been a struggle.
oh yeah, big time. I didn't even know how to navigate that, being a single mom at that too.
You're barely even a woman at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, just put on a facade.
Yeah.
But I had my mom who helped me, probably enabled me at the time too,
Right.
when you think about it, right? Because I had free range to go out to the clubs all weekend long.
And babysitter.
And my mom was there. Like,
Yeah.
she was like,
Helping.
and probably too, from her own guilt too, I think a lot of it was she loved her grandkid and was her first grandchild.
Of
and
course.
then her own guilt probably with her parenting with us, wherever she fell short with us, she picked it up extra with my kids.
Right.
Right? So she was always there. I've always could depend on her, rely on her,
Yeah.
and probably way too much.
And I bet you it's like you took advantage of that
And
situation.
so,
Yeah.
manipulated it to the, and I go to her boyfriend at the time, ask him, and my mom would tell me, no, she can't babysit that weekend. I'd ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd say, oh,
You get the
for
answer you
sure.
want.
I get the answer I want.
Right.
One of them would take them.
So at what point did you realize this is out of control?
So I realized it was out of control when I was pregnant for my kids, I didn't even smoke, right?
Yeah.
I was born with a birth defect on my feet when I was younger. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Like,
It's okay.
I think I'm gonna tell everything.
that's all
Is
good.
this a tell-all?
This is a tell-all. This is as deep as you want, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I work through it a lot, but still, I don't like telling. So I have a birth defect, and I really thought, you know what? Because of this, and I summed it up to my mom smoked when she was pregnant for me. So I'm like, I'll never smoke with my kids, right?
Right.
Never do any of that, right? So immediately put down the drinks, put down the cigarettes, right? And for each one of my kids, as soon as they came out, I stopped breastfeeding right away and got
Yeah.
back on it.
Right.
There was no real logic and love to it.
Right.
Right? It was just because of my own insecurities with my own way I was born, right?
Yeah.
So,
But at least you used that self-will for a positive in that moment. It's like
Yeah.
you can be stubborn, you can have motivation, and can use these things. But if only you were driven and motivated for positive reasons all the time,
yeah.
right? At that point in your life, it's like you look back now, you can kind of see it's like maybe I did do that for the benefit of my children. But as soon as they were out, it's like I went right back to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, who I surrounded myself with too, I was just always in party mode, right? And,
Right.
and looked at it like, well, I wasn't on real, like, hardcore drugs or hardcore dope, so I looked at it, I couldn't even identify myself as being an addict or anything like that.
Yeah,
nowhere
because I'm
near
not
it.
as bad as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I will never be nothing like that.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know what I mean?
The judgments at the same time
Yes.
doing it.
You
Yeah.
become way worse. Don't ever say never.
Like
You
I'm not a
become way
junkie,
worse.
and you got a straw in your nose, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
So
Oh, man.
that being said, right, I had both my kids. Now my kids are 8 years apart. My son was at 16 because he was at 17, and then my daughter at 25, right?
Yeah.
So right after I had my daughter, I had this friend, right, and she's been missing in action for a while. I've been calling her on the phone, kind of call her parents, like, where are you at, girl? I miss you. I love you. I haven't seen you.
Yeah.
And she was like, she came over one night, right? And my daughter was probably just a little bit less than a year old. And she
Okay.
came over and she was like, well, let me show you why I haven't been around.
Oh.
And I'm like, she's like, I'll be back. So she left. She bought a couple lines of coke that day too. I've done that before. I hadn't did it in a while, like
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
because I was never like on and off of it. Only
Right.
when I'm going out to the club or.
It's not like you
Yeah.
got this dealer you meet on a
Yes,
daily basis,
yes.
right?
I wouldn't even know who to get it from at this point.
Right, exactly.
you know?
You're a mom at the
Yeah.
same time. It's like you'll
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
So she brought it over, and I don't blame her for this or anything, but it was my gateway into it. She came back with crack, and I remember smoking it like, how the fuck, he can't even, what? I didn't know how to inhale it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even getting a blast, but that first time, which was maybe my third time trying it,
Yeah.
with her coming over and bringing it over, my third time trying it, finally I hit it the correct way.
Right.
And I remember that, and I remember it so much, and this is probably making me emotional because I emptied my savings account.
Oh my goodness.
I emptied my savings account. I had this money saved up. Always in life, wanting more out of life.
Yeah.
Always knowing too that I will have more out of life.
Saving for a trip, a car, a
I went
house,
out to
something.
Jamaica
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was like on my 20, just before that happened, I went to Jamaica.
So first time trying it,
Same
how
year.
much money did you spend?
Oh, I spent first year, I went through.
No, I mean that first time you said you drained your savings account. What were you saving for, and how much?
I was
money
like
did you spend?
$7,000 and something in my account back then. That was like,
well, lots of money.
I mean?
Yeah, we're looking at 20 grand right now.
Yes.
Right. So in one
that was
night.
just baby bonus. That was just my baby bonus, and I was working part time here and there under the table doing housekeeping at a motel up the street.
Okay, so but let's pause here. So that night it starts. You finally inhale. And then
3 days later,
3 days. Okay, so $7 grand, 3 days.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Same friend sitting there with you. Let me show you. And then not only that too, it's like misery loves company, right? Like, look at that.
And I had my kid's father was always like a hustler.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So like I was always around that lifestyle.
You never had an interest in per se that.
Never had an interest. But this is where I like to think it's accumulation of a lot of things, right? Not just that one day with that one friend, right?
That's right, yeah.
But here's my way of thinking, right? My way of thinking was, there's two sides of the street.
Yep.
There's people who smoke dope, and there's people who sell dope.
Right.
So I always aspired to be on this side of the street, which was fucking you think about.
Either way, it's negative.
Yeah. They're both on one side of the street.
That's right, because it's not normal society.
And then there's normal. Whatever normal is on this side. And the smokers and the dealers are both together on one side.
Right.
You're not better if you're giving somebody the dope.
That's right. How you make the money or how you spend the money don't make no difference. It's all some are negative, right? But the way we think, so I can totally relate to that because I sold drugs for most of my teenage years right into my 30s, right? And I always looked at people like they were for a benefit that way, right? Like I'm looking for the next custody, I'm looking for the next person to make a sale off of, or make enough money. But then I was closet using. Over time, it progressively became worse, right?
Yeah.
And then it became to using people in different ways and becoming a monster myself. And then the addiction's too overwhelming to where a point where it's like it almost felt like I was blindsided, but I seen it coming.
Yeah, you seen it coming.
Like
But and you get to hide behind it. It's the max that you get to hide behind, right?
Yeah.
You're all right. You got the look. You got the money in your pocket.
That's right. I can spend $2,000-$3,000.
Yes,
That's right.
yes. And everybody, and a lot of people in my family, because I didn't know what I was doing, but they were proud of me. Like my health was on point.
That's right. Yeah.
Everything was dressed to impress. The
surface looks nice and calm.
Yeah.
And it's just toiling underneath.
Yeah.
So it's just like, So at that point, when you found yourself first trying the crack, how many years would you say? Like, how old were you then?
So I was about 20, just before my 26th birthday.
Okay, so mid-20s, and then we're going to jump ahead to where you reached out for help, and we'll come back in between.
Yeah,
so
2014, boy, I was like 31 maybe.
Okay, so we're talking 6 years later.
Yeah.
5-6 years later.
Yeah.
And no money to show for it, and just
but I didn't get it. I mean, I think he was planning it.
With the point, right?
Yeah, but I lasted like 8 months. But this is what I used to do. So I come into the program, right? I thought like, shit, I sat my ass in these chairs, like, recovery, come to me.
Yeah, no,
I gotta work
you
it.
Gotta go get it. You gotta go get that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
People don't see it. It's like a daily struggle to get up and say, I need help. Thank you for reach for gratitude somewhere, and then push through the day.
Yeah. So when the fights of life were happening, like to get along with my mother, or now my mom got mad at me and told me to take my kids and go find somewhere to live. Now I'm having to juggle that issue. So I'm having to juggle all these issues with. I sat in the chair for 90 days and graduated program because I flew underneath the radar, right? But no type of programming.
Never took any practicing the skills.
Yes. To like sometimes be quiet. You don't have to have a lot of and it was like going back to childhood things that I need to be taught, right? Like
break you down to build you back up.
You just because you're loud and you put that voice out there don't mean you're gonna get what you want.
That's right. Or just because you're heard doesn't mean you're talking sense.
There you go.
Right?
That's a good
like
one.
just because you're heard does not mean that you're speaking something that's like viable, And like, man, that's funny that you say that because I know when I first came here I had reservations, right? Drinking's not my issue. I like to smoke weed. That was never my problem. So I thought I was able to possibly drink on the holidays, or I'm going to smoke weed because I was a crackhead and I was addicted to fentanyl and meth. So that's not my issue, right?
Yeah.
I can still smoke joints. So it took me like, I don't know, week 6-ish to finally like be broken down when my group leader Paul, he said to me, he's like, like it's one way or the other. It's an abstinent free program. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You have to really take a perspective on like the gateway of these things. So you drink, it lowers your inhibitions. You smoke weed, you get lazy. Like, what are the pros and the cons of these substances, right? Like, what do they do for you in a beneficial way? How's it going to harm you? How is it going to say help you prosper? What's the positives in it? And I couldn't come up with any positives. I procrastinate when I smoke weed. I'm lazy. I don't do nothing. I don't even make a plan in the day. I just want to chill, right? If I drink, I make the stupidest decisions, right? I want to fight. I want to lust. I want to argue. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm 0 to 100 in it. So what's the benefit in that? And I'm going broke, and I'm probably going to end up finding narcotics because my inhibitions are lowered.
Yeah.
So I'm making very irrational decisions. So I had to look at that and be like, all right, I never did anything when I smoked weed. Sure, I laugh and eat and chill, but it's I'm not gaining anything by having this reservation. So even though I enjoy the smell, I enjoy the taste or whatever, right? The beer or the liquor or whatever it is that maybe...
Yeah, float your boat.
Yeah. It's I got to put this down.
Yeah. I
got to really take a perspective and look in the mirror on this one.
And I respect everybody's journey, and it doesn't always look the way we are allowed to have our own journey and our own belief system,
That's
right? Through school, because I was like this on recovery because of the way my life turned out, and I've only came to one place and learned this way, right?
Right.
And I used to and then I hear different things in recovery about harm reduction and stuff like that, and I learned a lot about it, right? So I am open to that and respect everyone's journey. It's just not my belief.
Well, here's the thing.
My belief is abstinence-based, and your belief can be yours.
Anything you want, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that too, because there's different places in the city that do the harm reduction program, right? Where they'll allow people to smoke weed or whatever, and it's it's okay, but not for me. The thing is I know before I found recovery, I wanted to quit, and I'd have stints of, white knuckling sobriety, right?
Yeah.
And just being I'm not getting high for a few days or a week. And maybe I went to jail for 9 months or a year or 2 years, and I didn't use in that period of time. And then I'd get out and I'd fight the urge to smoke cigarettes or eventually go out with the friends or people I thought were friends. But there was points where I was stubborn enough to not want to do it for a period of time.
Yes.
So it's if I could, have that moment of clarity and say I'm not doing this, and then fall short on myself. It's I always deep down didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And it's so normalized, so it's good for you for even getting to that point, right? Because to fight through those battles, because it's not just a struggle of, is this okay for me or is this good for me, but socially acceptable or not too, that's a really, really hard to fight through.
100%. And what I'm trying to say is say I was in a program or not. Mm-hmm. It's when I finally got to a point where I asked for help and I needed to find some sort of different way of living, then the knowledge came.
Yeah.
Then the knowledge came oh my God, I was fighting these impulses for a reason. Now being knowledgeable in recovery a little bit, it's I can see I was deep down really looking for some sort of life again.
I like when you said it because it reminds me of when people say when the student is ready, the teacher will.
Yes.
You were ready to receive that.
And that's just it. It's I didn't realize that I was relapsing in behavior, relapsing mentally, emotionally, and with substance without even having any programming in me. You know what I mean? Because there's a part of me that really wants to aspire to live, and then there's this part that just keeps falling short with temptation, and going back to the only thing I knew. So once I kind of got the knowledge, it's did you have a moment in your program?
I'll tell you this. Not that I didn't have a moment in my program, but I didn't even know there was another way to live.
Okay.
Because I was born and raised in drugs, either people using them or selling them. Right. I was raised in that lifestyle, right? Yeah. Born and raised in that lifestyle, right? So to know there was another way to live was this was it. This is what I aspired to be, was the dealer, not the smoker. When I came to smoker, it was what the hell happened to me? Right. I couldn't believe it. But if you were somebody else looking from the outside in, you could see it happening. Yeah, look at your lifestyle. First you were partying at the bars, going out.
You're always around it. It's only inevitable.
Trying different things, and you're always looking at other people, judging them, and saying you're never going to be like them. Of course this was going to happen to me, right? That's right. But when I realized there was another way to live, that's when I'm okay, I want to soak in whatever's being said to me. And it was such a fight. The fight wasn't, when I got into recovery, the fight was to believe. Okay. Believe that I was, I could, deserving of, and that I could live another way.
100%.
And I remember, I told this story before. So I remember the moment where I did, because I walk into a place that's predominantly white, and you see my skin, I'm black, right? Yeah. So walking into a place, you know our disease, right? Our disease will come in and tell, girl, you're too black for these people. Girl, you talk different, you act different. Yeah. You know, any excuse and every excuse.
Just not to look in the mirror. You could look in the mirror and see yourself and say, I'm not worth it. Yes. This is any reason to quit.
Yes. But and I don't got to be accountable or honest about what I've been doing in my life and how I've been hurting my kids and my family. Yeah. You know, none of that, because now I'm just focused on the color of my skin and the color of other
or the way you think someone looks at you or thinks about you, and you have no idea what someone thinks or.
Exactly. So I'm sitting in this group, I'm the only black one in there. It's all these. It's not just white people. It's all older white people too, right? And I'm supposed to like look at and say,
And trust you? Yeah.
or I can relate to you, or I've already set myself apart because of the color of my skin.
Yeah, day
now
one.
I'm setting myself apart because of the way I talk and the way I walk. In my family, when we go home, we act different.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So,
We're not
no
the
wonder why
same.
I never got it. But the moment that I did, I'm sitting in this group, it's all these older white alumni women, and they're sharing their stories, and they're sharing them with me because I'm a part of this group. I've always sat in that group, but I felt like I was always on the outside of that group.
Right.
And I never was able to voice that. And I remember that moment when I shared that in that group after listening to all these ladies tell these stories about them being around for 30
Then you
years.
shared about feeling outside the group?
Yes.
Okay.
And I felt a part of that group.
Now all of
And
a
I
sudden
was
all
like,
that lifts.
Oh yeah, and these ladies were telling us stories about when they first came in and about how they thought and what they thought like and how they believe that they were different and that they couldn't have what the alumni had, and here they are now 30-something years.
That's right.
And I'm sitting in the same circle thinking the same thing, holding it all in.
Right.
Until I opened it up.
Yeah, so when you finally had the courage to rat yourself out for the thoughts you're having, listen, I say this to people
I
all
told
the time.
myself all the time about everything.
That's what I said. I told people,
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with one of my sponsees yesterday. I said, listen, if you think that you can sit with your thoughts, they're only going to multiply.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
I said, and it doesn't matter if it's a positive thing, it could lead you, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. I said, so I always have to rat myself out for my thoughts. I said, it's the only way I know how to survive, because if I keep thinking about something and it isn't, say, negative or violent or ill will towards somebody else, eventually I'm going to do that to the wrong person, maybe not even the person I'm thinking about it on. Right? And I said, so I have to tell on myself. And the more I speak about it, the more I can hear it audibly, like I sound stupid, right? Or other people are going to be like, whoa, bro, like I don't think that's a good idea. Like you should probably fucking tone it down a bit, you know what I mean? And they're only going to help you, because another alcoholic does not want to give you bad advice.
Yeah.
They might not be able to follow their own words. We're great at that.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you how to live, but I ain't going to do that
Right.
per se, unless somebody else is there holding me accountable. That's why you got this trifecta of like accountability. You know, this whole everyone is in this triangle of, or circle of, you know, accountability. It's like what we're supposed to be living like, right?
Yeah.
You know, we need other people.
Yeah, we need to, and like to, and I feel like when you get the most help, like when you're honest with those thoughts, because you didn't have to go make the mistake, you didn't have to go,
Yeah.
and either or. You
Even
still
if you do make the mistake and
even
you're
if you
honest
do.
about it, that's still growth.
But it starts with a thought, right?
That's right.
And we keep on everything because we don't want people to think bad about
Yeah.
us. We don't want them to know the truth about what, because sometimes my thoughts are like vicious.
Very fucked up, yeah.
Vicious,
Yeah.
right?
And it's like you think about that, if they only knew what I was actually
Yes, but it's just a thought.
That's right.
And once you get it out and somebody says, hey, I can relate to that. Tell you how rewarding that is? That
Yeah.
is just like a gift that nobody else can get. Like, we get that
like.
gift.
I'll give you an example right now. Like yesterday at work, okay, and I'm going to say this. I have to go and take Alicia or another coworker aside after somebody will threaten me or another coworker, and they get like violently tough, you know? And I'm like, buddy, I work here. I have to call the police. You know what I mean? Like, if you keep this up, I gotta call the cops on you. You need to go, you know? But my head, I will tell them in a one-on-one, like, I was thinking about drop kicking them off the front stairs. Like, I wanted to punch them in the face, give them a two-piece, send them back flying. You know, like, who the fuck do these people think they are? Like, how dare they? But that's my ego, my pride. So if I don't vent about that, it's only gonna build up into a point where maybe I do something negative, and then it's just like me losing my job.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what it
Yeah.
becomes, is detrimental to myself. Yeah, it's like if I keep leading these negative thoughts down the line, you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to end up bad for this guy, not Q.
Yeah.
Like, me being mean to somebody over here doesn't affect your life, it affects mine. So I got to tell on myself.
Yeah, there's a bigger picture behind it. And even I did that today. I was in group, right? And I'm like, you know, my feelings were hurt by one of my family members, right? My feelings were hurt. And I go straight to something else. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do this for them. I'm not going to do that. And what doesn't have anything to do with it? But I'm in group and I'm hearing somebody else share, and I can relate to their way of thinking. I'm like, oh my, I didn't even think about it all day. I did this yesterday, right? And I'm just like telling myself, right? Well, I'm not calling that person no more. I'm not doing that. So I'm like,
So
in
you
group,
build
I'm
this
like,
up. Yeah.
Yeah, an opportunity. I'm like, okay, I guess I need to share this. So I'm like, yeah, you know, yesterday I was feeling like this, I feel like that, and of course I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah.
But if I would have just held on to that, yeah, I would have
I
kept
bet
going
you
with it.
5 minutes after you share, you realize, you know, I
Yeah.
could probably have a conversation about this with the
Yeah.
person now.
It's
And
not
like,
the right thing to do.
not the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird how that is, right? So you're talking about this first time in program and then having to come back. You were 31 and you hit that point where you
Yeah.
said a seed may have been planted, you know, you kind of floated through.
Yeah.
How long did you go back out for, and when did you come back until this point?
Oh, no, to this point, I came back again one more time.
That's okay.
Came
That's
back
okay.
in 2014, 2016 I came in.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was beat up and raped pretty bad. And it's
Sorry to
still,
hear that.
like, a lot of things were happening at that point.
Yeah.
Traumatizing things, but just still going with the flow, going with the actions of the streets.
Yeah.
You know, you rip and run the streets and
Well, you
adapt
got to
to
taste
that.
something good. You know what reminds me of is Dave.
Yeah.
45 intakes.
Yes.
That's what that kind of like always
Yes.
goes back to that. It's like people when they fail, I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to give that guy the time of day. I'm still going to answer. If you want to do 15, detox phone calls with me, I'm going to do the 15, 20. I don't care how many times you ask for help, right?
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of.
It was a good, and I hadn't knew of this place, right, since I came here before, right?
Right.
I've already known of this place, and I'm like, and I was at the point where, like, nothing was getting better, everything was getting worse. I lost my apartment, now I'm away from, like, my mom's had my kids, right, so I've always had access to them, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing them, like, I'm missing Christmases, I'm missing birthdays. My mom lives right downtown in the area, right?
Gaps,
I'm like
yeah.
2 blocks over at the dope house, and my kids are over there at a Christmas, and my mom's putting all my names on all the gifts.
Oh,
Making it easier for me. All you had to do was show up.
that's right.
That's all I had to do. I didn't have to have nothing.
And she probably told you that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't face it.
Couldn't
Didn't want
hear
to
it.
face it.
Yeah.
I remember when there was moments where, like, I'd walk around, I'd try to go to her house. I'm like, okay, I had a long night out, right? Long couple nights, probably weeks at that time. And I'm like, I gotta go to my mom. I gotta go see him. Like, I miss my kids now. I'm talking to myself, and I probably look crazy to people walking down the street. Like, I'm just talking. Like, go to your mom. I go to my mom's front door, and I can't fucking knock on the door. So I go around it. Right?
Yeah.
Go around the block, try to go to the door again. And I did this like 10 times.
I know
You
the
know,
feeling.
I did not go there.
I believe it.
Could not fucking go show face.
Yeah.
When all they were doing was waiting for me to show up.
And you can't
waiting
even
for her to
knock,
see me. And I
I'm
couldn't
2 feet
knock.
away.
Couldn't knock.
Yeah.
I remember when I missed my first Christmas being at the drug house, right? And I was like, I knew I should have went home.
And then we feel bad for ourselves.
Yes, always feeling bad for myself.
Yeah.
And just because you said it, let me tell you this, okay? So when I came to recovery, did I say Brentwood?
Yeah. You can say Brentwood,
Okay.
just can't talk
Yeah.
about where you're employed.
Okay.
That's all.
So when I came there, right, I remember going up in inventory group and sharing this inventory and being so broken, like, oh my God, you guys, I miss my kids' great grand. And I really felt like this.
Yeah.
I did. I knew it was a pivotal moment in my son's life. He was graduating grade 8.
And he's
it was
entering that
important.
manhood.
Yes.
He's getting ready to go to high school.
Yes.
Like, dude's growing up.
So I had enough sense to, like, hustle up some money
Yep.
to take him for the fitting. 3 days in a row, I'm taking him for the fitting. He looks all cute. They're asking me, do you want this? Give him all the extras. I'll pay that money,
Yeah.
Give him all the extras, because everything was about showboating at that time.
That's right.
Nothing was in the moment, sincere.
That's right.
You know?
You didn't even know how to probably be that
I didn't
way.
even know how to.
Yeah.
So I thought this was it. So I took him 1 day, 2 days. The 3rd day was his graduation, and I missed it. And do you know, my son came to my apartment. I had this apartment. I don't even call it an apartment, but he had came there and he put on because me and him and my daughter had matching clothes, like we were all color coordinated.
So
with
you
each
got it
other.
ready for you.
So he says, let's take pictures like as if we were there, because I missed it. He shows up at my house at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm standing at this point, and I really worked through this. This is why I'm not emotional, but it still touches my heart to this day. But I've really worked through this a lot, right? I stood at the podium and I was crying. I was like really heartbroken over the fact that I missed his and then something hit me. It was like slap in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you feel like this, how do you
did
think
he
he might have
feel?
felt
Wow.
when he looked out into the audience and didn't see his mom?
Yeah, empty chair.
Yeah. So when I thought about the pain that they might have felt when I was doing all this, that pain felt unbearable. That felt unbearable. I thought my pain was traumatic. I thought my pain was painful. When I entertained the thought of the pain they might have felt, I'm telling you, that's the stuff that really truly brought me to my knees. And I remember boo-hooing, screaming and crying, and somebody just holding me through it.
Yeah.
Holding me through it. And that's what I needed. I needed
You know what's
that.
crazy when you say that is that, like, we can be so narrow-minded when we're stuck in a minute-to-minute, quick fix way of thinking. So it doesn't matter what we dive into. If I'm stuck in the next thing for me, 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 the only way I'm going to see anything is about how I'm feeling about what you and her talk about, or you and him talk about, or my kid and this person, or whatever's going on around me. It's only going to be about how I feel about that. It's not even, like you said, in the moment, being able to say share the Christmas with someone, or the graduation with your son, or any of these feelings with them.
Yes.
You're not bonding those energies.
Yes.
You know, you're not able to like connect,
Yes.
you know, morally in a foundation from your heart and like give your positivity and get that positivity. Like they said, we have an inability in that way of life to give or receive love.
That's why we have to learn it. Somebody has to teach it to us, right?
Yeah, I like that's when you said break you down,
Yes.
just to allow you to grow back up.
Grow back up,
Yeah.
right? And so I got to experience some of my first recovery. I remember my son held my hand for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when he trusted me to be with my daughter. He was always like a father with her, right?
Yeah.
He got her ready in the morning. He got her dressed.
So how many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a boy and a girl.
Okay, so
8 years apart.
8 years. Okay,
So my son is 23
right.
now. My daughter's 15, but this was...
So she's 5, he's 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he did a lot for her. So I was in recovery, and he allowed me to hold her hand to walk across the street.
Ah.
Whereas he would do that all the way in the beginning. And I always told just to let him. When he's ready to trust you, like you're going to take care of her,
That's right.
he'll let me. And he did. And I remember these moments so vividly because they were like, oh my God.
That's like the trophy for your heart.
When you know you're doing the work.
That's right.
You know you're doing the work. It's a good reward. That
Well, they talk about that too. They're like, man, like in the short 90 days, we'll just talk about that 90-day period. It's like how many times your family starts to come back to you. How many times the phone calls start happening, the connections start coming back, and then, you know, either you go back out or you don't.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I fail, they just disappear again.
Yeah.
It's like you shove them all away, you break their hearts, you cut them right out at the knees. It's like, you know, taking that connection, and it's like basically, what hit me the most was when somebody said, if you go out and do this, you might as well just slap your kid in the face. You might as well just go out and spit right in your mom's face or your dad's face, you know, and then walk away. Like, it would be less painful to tell them the truth and say, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be a drug addict.
Yeah.
Better off. See you later. Like, in which I've done.
And that, if we heard somebody say that, that would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. But our actions are doing way worse than that.
Way worse, because we're saying, I know, I'm sorry, and then I turn around and go, fucking idiot, right?
Yeah.
And I take
How
their money.
great.
Oh yeah, and it's like, how dare I do that? Like, I raped my dad financially.
Yeah.
Like, I've taken that man for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like with every excuse under the sun, I'm calling him from a crack house in Alberta, telling him that my car's on the side of the road. I need a tow truck. I need a new tire. I need a new rim. Like, I'm adding up all these dollars.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to send me $1,400 because I just spent $4,000. I'm broke. I'm gonna put $50 in my gas tank because I gotta get back to work. But in all honesty, I need another ounce.
Yeah.
Like, I need to stay up for the next 2 nights. How are we gonna do that? Well, I know my dad loves me. So that's the truth of it. Like, that's the nitty gritty. It's like, man, the way we walk on people, like you're saying, when you first get that trophy or that accomplishment of like him trusting you again.
Yeah.
That's definitely a pivotal moment. You could hold that as like, I don't know how to say it, like almost a memento in a way, or like some sort of a motivational drive. It's like, yes, I'm doing the right
Yeah,
things.
I'm doing the right things.
Yeah.
And it's even cool how you can see that or even feel that, because I miss so many of those moments, right? My son's held my hands many a times, but I never was able to feel it.
Right.
I was never able to see it. So I remember, here's another memory I have when I was on program, and I was wanting to learn to get to know my kids, right? And I would say that out in group, and I said, I want to get to know my kids and stuff. And then one of the girls came up to me, I don't remember who, but she said, why don't you pray about it? So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I started praying. It wasn't really big in prayer. I am now, but it wasn't big in prayer back then. I didn't know anything about it, right? So I started praying, like, please help me to get to know my kids better, God. Please help me, right?
Yeah.
So I go home. I've been going home on, permissions. Usually I go home to watch TV. It's my time. I work fucking hard on program. So I thought.
Right.
So now that I'm, finally doing it the right way, that was the first time around. Now that I'm finally doing it the right way, I know that my permissions times was for my kids.
That's right.
For me to
Supposed
help
to
out.
be.
For me to help out.
That's right.
And honestly, take the time to connect with them in a way that I've never connected with them before, right? So I just say this prayer, I go home, and I almost instantly, where I know, I'm like, I go to God like, hey, slow down. You're like doing too much. Like, it's starting to make me nervous. Like,
Fucking my day up.
I'm saying something, and then all of a sudden you're making it happen.
Yeah.
So I walk into the house, and in my son's room, he's got all these red ribbons. They're #1 ribbons. He can run fast. Those ribbons been in his room forever, but I was never able to see them. Now I can see them. Oh my God, my son can run fast. Oh my God, I'm getting to learn to
small things.
I'm starting to learn who he is, right?
Yeah.
My daughter, she listened to Hit the Quan, and they're dancing. I'm like, damn, they can dance.
She likes the move.
Yeah. So I'm like, here I'm asking, I want to get to know my kids better, and instantly things are coming.
You're giving the vision.
They always dance. They always listen to music.
You just didn't open your eyes.
I couldn't see it.
Not to mention too, it's
feel
like
it.
they're having that ear, that the eye that can hear, the hand that can listen,
Yeah.
and the shoulder that can hear. You know what I mean? It's like being able to like use all of your senses for multiple things, like opening your heart to be able to see that. Yeah, you're too fucking closed.
Yeah,
you're
your
too
heart has to be open.
Yeah, you're set back. You're in your, like I said, you're in your motivation for yourself until you finally really broke yourself down. It's like you said, maybe it was God waiting for you to ask for His help. You know, maybe it was that okay, you've gotten so far by yourself, you're doing good, you got some accomplishments, and then somebody mentions you, and you know, they say, you know, the higher power works through other people.
Yes.
You know, somebody goes to you, why don't you try praying about it? So fuck it, I'll bend the knee.
Yes.
Right, I'll break myself down. I'll get on my knees. You know, I really want to get my kids better. And bam, bam, bam. Yeah. So like that was the moment that you finally took that time for yourself and
I was ready, eh?
Yeah. Go figure, right? It's like,
wait, I remember when Dan Sawyer. Remember Dan Sawyer?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Sawyer, he was the director at the time. He was like, stop looking to the sky. Look to the person next to you.
That's right.
The presence of God is in it through people. I'm like, oh my God, it's people.
Right. Because I would isolate.
I got it.
Isolate through prayer. Isolate through prayer. It's like, well, in a way, you can do that. You can have your spiritual connection and ask and talk to God. Yeah. But I would never, ever talk to other people about what I would pray for.
Yes.
So why couldn't I? Why couldn't I sit here and say on the way here, I was praying in my mind that we would have a good talk and things would work out.
Me too.
Because I was in a negative mood. I was nervous. I had anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It always works out fine. It does. But for some reason, this is going a lot better than I thought it would. Yeah. And maybe it is because I asked for help. And I can talk about that prayer that I had, right? Yeah. It's like, there's no issues with sharing your problems with other people and having them give you some insight. Because like you said, in through other people, right?
Yeah, he's going to speak through other people. He's not going to go through the clouds and say, you know what? You need to do this, Matt. You need to do this, too.
It's Lion King. All of a sudden, there's a message in the clouds, right? Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I get it.
It's other people.
That meant a lot. And even though I did have a hard relapse, I had 3.5 years of good program.
That's right, yeah.
Good, strong program, too. And the reason why I say that, and that's just not tooting my own horn, the reason why I say that is because I really, truly believe that I lived my best life, and my kids lived theirs, too. Like, we experienced, like, things for the first time in recovery, things that I thought I was a dumb my entire life, right? My daughter went to dance school for her first time when I was in recovery. I drove for the first time and bought a car. Like, just things that happened for the
and
first time. And
hard-earned money to probably get that car.
Yes. Right. Things that I thought I would never do. I had a fear of driving. I thought I would never even drive. It was in group. I was stuck on fear. The topic was fear. And somebody was sharing about driving. And I looked at my group and I'm like, I think I want to learn how to drive. My mom had a fear and she instilled that fear in me. I thought I would never drive every day of my life.
Right.
Now I'm 35, 36 years old and I'm learning how to drive for the first time.
There you go.
She said, my group leader said, go to driving school.
That's right. Why not?
Like, okay. Yeah. So a lot of things, right? My kids came to youth group. They met other kids here. They still talk to each other. Like, there's just connections that go beyond just us, right?
So let's talk about that for a second. The ripple effect. That ripple effect. Like, okay, so for instance, like Alicia is here in my life today because she had the courage to go to detox. But I remember when she first called me saying, you know, I don't really know anyone that's sober. So like, you know, what do I do? Like, what can I do? You know what I mean? So being able to help somebody that way, it's like, and then her kids come in and my kids are in my life and then the other family members start becoming proud of you and then all these other people are affected. It's like, and then people that she knows are now wanting to come on a program or people that I know, like family members from out of town are coming on a program. Like her aunt's calling her, you know, like a number of times, like, listen, I want help. And, you know, she'll say to me someday, she's like, at least she's still doing the first thing she needs to do. Like she keeps, you know, bumping into walls or hitting roadblocks. But the ripple effect that it can have, you know, how many people you think in your life have been affected just by you doing a positive thing? Yeah,
rather they've come here or not.
Right.
Really, because my family I was just always missing in action.
That's right.
Right? So my nephews, here's a good example. My nephews were petrified of me. Their mom would be like, go give your aunt a hug. No. Like they literally do that the entire time. Like she'd be, and I would hope and pray that she'd stop asking them, right? Because I was embarrassed, right? They were petrified
because they don't know you.
Yeah, they didn't know me. I was just never there. Pop up one time for a Christmas gathering or our holiday gathering or barbecue when I get
just because your sister knows it doesn't mean that they do.
So and now my nephews call me 24/7, like 8 times a day. Where I'm like, hey nephews, like you guys stop calling my. I'm at work. They love me. We went out on the weekend. Like we go out every weekend almost. We go. I mean, not every weekend, but we go out a lot, right? Yeah. they're not scared of me. They'll come and give me a hug. They're not scared of me. But that's the ripple effect.
Yeah,
right?
You don't even need to have somebody necessarily be looking for help. It's just the effects it will have on everyone. My daughter's calling me about our puppy. You know, she got a puppy. I got a puppy. We're having this bonding moment.
Yeah, bonding moment with your puppies. Your puppies are what?
They're brother and sister.
Brother and sister.
Yeah. So I'm just like, this is what it takes. I'm like, this is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Because like it was months, almost years, to a point where I'd come to Brentwood and we were starting to get to know each other. To a point where it's like we kind of stopped talking because of something that I did. You know what I mean? And this is like now watching the growth, like just from her reaching out because she knows I'm doing okay. That to me is special. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of...
my hat goes off to a couple who can make it through together and on this journey. Yeah. It's very few in between.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That you see that happen.
It's kind of weird because they say sometimes when you love something you have to like let it go.
Yeah.
And she had to go. Alicia had to go on her own journey. I had to go on my own journey.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in life it's like a spade. We just came back together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool how
you should do a couples thing here.
Well,
look at me giving you things.
Yeah, right.
I'm a pat man.
Listen, we had to ask. I asked her that like I don't know.
Couples goals.
Yeah, like listen, I'm really hoping that you can come on a podcast. She's like, how's this gonna work? How's this gonna work? But yeah, that's an idea, right? That's actually a good idea. But,
just you know what I mean, to show that it can happen too, right?
That's right.
It can happen.
Well, there's the same thing with like Ben and Crystal. It's like I wanted to talk to like them to get there's a lot of ideas, man, and like moving forward, hopefully things like that'll work out, right? Yeah. So,
but
when you came to program the second time, right? And you said 2016. This was.
Yeah.
How many years did you go back out when you had that relapse to come back this time?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
And that was after 3.5 years in program.
I did everything that I thought I would ever do. I remember when can I say that, fentanyl?
You can say everything you want to say.
Fentanyl came out. I was speaking at Detox. I'm like, whoa, is this drug? I was in recovery. I didn't even whoa, what's this? So when I relapsed, that's what I got on.
Oh, wow.
Right? Not right away.
Yeah, but that's...
slowly but surely.
That happened at the end of my addiction, too.
Yeah, and so now I'm here doing this hardcore stuff. People are dropping like flies right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right? And honestly, when I was going, it meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It meant nothing to me.
Zero emotions.
And I would look at and almost brag about, well, I didn't, until it happened. Right? And even though I seen people overdose, it started to get scary though, because I knew that I wasn't I wasn't untouchable.
That's right.
Right?
You got the same organs.
Yeah, I wasn't untouchable. My day was gonna come, right? And it didn't come with me, but it came with someone I was dating. We were at a hotel room and he overdosed and died, and I couldn't bring him back. And I was arrested, and I went to jail for my first time. I've been arrested and went downtown, but this time they locked me up, put me in the county, and the charges got dropped and all that stuff, right? They charged me with it and stuff, but everything was dropped. But that was one of the first experiences that I had that scared, the socks off of me.
Yeah.
And even though it wasn't enough, because I went and used, it started the tone.
Still resonated, eh?
Yeah, something resonated with okay, come on, this person died, and his death is going to be in vain. I can make it. You know what I mean? I always thought about him, and I always thought to do something, in memory of him, or you know what I mean. And I knew that just like he died, thinking that it probably never happened to him. I'm walking around thinking it will never happen to me, and I just watched him die.
That's right.
How dare I?
That's right.
Who do I think I am?
It's now then, would you say that living a better life is in memory of those people now looking back?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, the same thing happened with best friends, 2 of them, and it's I just know that if I'm doing the right things today, that's probably what they would want.
Oh yeah.
I know
he was somewhere maneuvering things for me to get here, because I was so lost and so distraught, and I didn't even have the streets to back me up at that point. Half of them loved him and said, "Oh, you probably did do it,"
That's right.
And you know what I mean. And then the other half probably just didn't understand,
didn't care,
right? So he wasn't comforted out on the streets. I didn't even talk about him. I couldn't talk about him. If I did talk about him, somebody was threatening to whip my ass or do something to me because they believed I did do it, right? And so it was so confusing.
That's right.
So I had a little bit of recovery in me, because at that point I was nice. If I wanted to get high, I'd just take your shit.
That's right.
I didn't care what I did to people.
That's right.
And at this point, I did care. I had enough sense to be you're not going to do that. That's wrong. So not enough recovery to get sober, and too much to belong out there.
That's right. Yeah.
Because
someone that great.
I was ripped off 24/7.
Oh,
I was soft. I was I went from like being the toughest person to being like the weakest person.
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Yeah.
Everybody took from me any chance they could get because I just would not do anything to anybody. I just couldn't anymore, right?
Yeah. It becomes tiring too inside, right?
You learn. I learned in those 3.5 years of recovery. I learned stuff, and
That's right.
I wasn't so high that I couldn't remember what I've learned.
That's right. Yeah.
I didn't
That's why they
remember
say
all
it
of
gets
it.
100 times worse going back out.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't remember all of it, but I remember some of it. Yeah, you don't see. Wait, we don't tell people. Let's just make this clear. Let's just say this loud, okay, Matt?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We tell people it gets 100 times worse. What we don't tell them is you do not belong out there anymore.
That's right,
You
because of
won't
the
fit
feelings
in.
you have. The
you
feelings.
won't fit in.
That's what I said too. I'm like,
Yes.
listen, man, I got too many emotions these days.
Yes.
So
You're a sucker.
I'm with somebody.
Yes.
And we're going by what's it called on Wyandotte? I think it's Cheetahs or something. There's like a strip club or something, right? Or leopards or something like that anyway.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, do you think? I'm like, no, it's not even a thing.
Yes.
I said, why don't you get excited and turn your head when you go by McDonald's? I said, you don't get excited. Oh, there's the library. There's the bank. I said, you know,
true, though.
we're only getting our heads turned because it's a strip club. I said, that makes zero sense, bro. I'm like, I'm excited for other things in my life now.
Yes.
I said, I can't help but have the feelings I have. If I did that, I said, imagine this. I'm coming out of that place. I'm like, I bump into somebody from recovery. I bump into somebody from where I work as a support worker. I bump into somebody that knows me from like wherever land. I said, and everything that I'm working for, it gets shut down.
Doesn't it help you though? Even
100%.
having that accountability, and I don't mean like in a sense of, oh my God, I might get caught, but in the sense of
Not even
I wanna
wanting
lead
to.
by example.
By example, yeah.
Like, who am I if I just walk one way and then talk another? Like,
Yeah.
who the hell am I?
Well, listen to this. Here's
And
another
I'm a
thing.
leader
too.
for more than just people at my job, but I'm a leader for my family. as well.
100%, 100%. And it's like, those are actions of representation, and not only for me, it's for the people that care about me.
Yeah.
If I'm not stepping right, then they're going to look at me, and I'm letting them down too. Because who knows the stories my dad's telling, my mom's telling, my kids are telling, like, oh, my dad, I'm so proud of him, or, you know, my son, you know, he's doing really well, and I'm in the back smoking crack right now as he's
Yes.
telling my aunties and my uncles or my cousins, like, what the fuck kind of example would that
Yeah.
be? 100%, 100%.
So, and I really do think, like, just even the leading by example too. But you know, I went to, so before I came back here, just before I came back here, I went to see this therapist, right? At I think I can't remember. You know that place on Pleasure where you could just walk in and take a shower and wash your laundry and stuff like that?
Okay.
Street Help.
Okay, Street Help.
So I walk into Street Help, right? They got a therapist there, right? Like, I want to see this guy, right? Because I'm like ready to get sober, but not enough to like get off the streets because I'm homeless at that time, right? So I got nowhere to live, and you know you have to have your basic necessities met. Like,
Yeah.
you just end up back at a dope house, right? So I go to this guy and I'm like, you know, help me to make a decision. He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You want me to tell you the answer? I said, yeah, you need to know, what am I gonna do? Like, do I go into treatment again, or should I be going to my mom's and being a mom to my kids? He was like, what kind of woman do you want to be? He said, I can't make that answer that question for you. That's way past my pay grade.
It's way too much.
He says, well, what kind of woman do you want to be? Like, what are your characteristics? And I've never been asked that question before, and I never even had to think about it
Who
before.
am
and
I?
I'm like, I don't really know, but if I were to dream of a person, or I were to think of, it would be this and this and this, right? And then he says, make sure the decisions that you make are closer to that, or walking towards that, not away from it.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I left there like, okay, so I run into this guy, because you know the devil's like creepy, like
That's
our
right.
disease is coming, right?
He's waiting for
As
you.
soon as we get to feeling good and we get to hearing the right thing, your disease comes, however you want to call it. I call my disease the devil.
That's right.
It creeps, comes right in, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even get to the end of the block when I walk out of there, and there's somebody I know, like, hey, Luke, what's up, man? You want to come over? I'm like, okay,
This is a pivotal point.
yes,
Yeah.
it's just closer to the woman that I want to become, like being a mom, going to this house. And I mean, I'm telling you, I let that lead me, and it led me from one place of recovery and recognizing.
So totally bouncing.
And I
off.
only stayed there for a week, but I didn't use, right?
That's right.
I know I don't want to use, and that place wasn't just for me. Like, I tried to
Right.
go to a different place. I tried to go everywhere but here.
Yeah.
But Brentwood, only because I had so much shame and guilt. Like,
That's right,
So much
yeah.
shame and guilt.
Meanwhile, they're open arms. Welcome.
I know. They're like, oh my God, we're so happy to see you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's your own self that you beat up, right? My relapse was really hard to come back from this time, right? Because I was my worst enemy, right?
No one can beat you up better than you.
Amen to that.
And here's another thing too, man. Like,
And I'm a fighter when I want to be.
when you're broken, or anyone, when anybody is broken down, beaten up, the devil don't want you. You're already there.
Yeah.
You're already in hell. He don't even have to try.
Yeah.
Like you said, as soon as you're about to do something good, or have the feelings of, or the thoughts of, or the motivation to, that's when he's creeping up.
Yeah.
That's when he's coming to knock on your door. Like, hello, you forgot about me. Here's some dope, or here's some
Yeah.
temptation.
I do believe it's like it teeter-totters the point of like being suicidal without even knowing you're suicidal, because it's not living that you're doing out there.
That's right.
I was not living.
Slowly dying.
But when something happens in you and you recognize that you do want to live, and hopefully that happens for everybody, right? But it has to get to that point where, okay, you know what, I want to live, and you're seeing this, like, this is not living, like, this is not, loving somebody. I thought, hey, I gave you some shit, I shared my shit with you, you should be my friend.
That's right.
And when you didn't share yours with me, I was just heartbroken.
That's right.
How could you? And I would talk about you to everybody.
That's right.
Do you know it?
Piece of shit.
Meanwhile, how is giving other people stuff, like,
that's right.
A friendly thing to do?
Right.
Didn't even, tie that in.
Comprehend all that.
Yeah, but when I came back from the relapse, right, I come here, and everybody has open arms. They're just really happy to see that, one, that you made it back and that you're alive, right?
That's right.
And very forgiving, and honestly, I needed that, because I couldn't even hold my head up high. You know? So they did let me back to life, and I truly believe that. But there was a quote that I went by, because I was so hard to understand my relapse. I would, like, just before I was coming back, when I was on the street still, I was questioning God. I would, like, say to him, because I started to pray at this time, right? Even when I was using, I pray, right? And I was like, God, like, why did you do this to me? Like, I had lived my best life, gave my kids their best life. Why would you do this to me? Right? I thought God did this to me.
Meanwhile, you're doing it to yourself.
You do it to myself, right? And then I was like, God, why you do this to me? But there is a quote that I live by, Nelson Mandela. You must walk through the valley of the shadow of death again and again to reach the mountain peak of your desires, right? Wow. I've learned so much in that seconds, the 3.5 years of recovery, right? And I almost said bit, and then I want to say that.
Wow, eh?
But I learned so much in that, and I, like, really great at being of service to other people. Right. But never able to love me still. So I would cater to everybody and do things to them, 12-step people, do outreach in community, like downtown areas,
You're shining. You're shining, yeah.
And that took a lot, because I didn't give a fuck about nobody.
That's right.
But myself for many, many years. Yeah. So for me to get to that point,
but self-care is important.
But it almost needs to be more important.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you're no good to nobody if you can't.
You got to charge that battery to be able to give that energy away.
So I didn't. I didn't love me still. Couldn't even look in the mirror.
You know what I find works with that?
Let's
touch base really quick on that, and then I got a couple of things I want to ask you. But so that energy, if I'm not taking some accountability in my life, I'm not allowing anyone else to care about me. If all I ever do is critique it as criticism, oh, you fucking trying to tell me what to do? Like, you always got something to fucking say. Of course I'm gonna exclude you out of my life. I'm gonna push that person away. So I'm not even allowing somebody to give me enough constructive criticism, and then saying they must really care about me, and then accepting them in my life and doing the actions in order to improve. Right? So by doing that, I'm recharging my battery, because I'm accepting that love. Now I feel better, because, hey man, you know what he said? Go shovel the driveway, let's say. I shoveled the fucking driveway. Now I can get out of the drive with my car, and I can do my thing, easy. Instead of pulling in, getting stuck, bitching about it, blaming God. Oh, I'm fucking stuck again. How could you do this to me? Right, like hypothetically. And it's like really taking the time to let, like you said, someone love me back to life.
And taking the time to reflect on how far you've come. That's why I, like, as nervous and as scared as I get to do something like this, right? I always, no matter what, whether it's good or bad, sometimes I've done stuff like this and it turned out really bad. You know what I mean? Like, I had 2 words to say, but you know what? I'll still do it, because, you know what? In order to, like, I have to be able to love me. That's right. Like, I really wanted to work on this time around, right? I wanted to learn how to love me, right? Learn to love me. Learn to love that woman. To get to where we were at to where we're at today is huge. That's right. And you have all these people, like, that'll tell you that good stuff, but unless you feel that inside,
it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't mean nothing.
Don't matter. You gotta be able to. And I was a dummy. I was stupid. I went back to school, got good ass marks, but I still thought I was a dummy and stupid.
That's because of the progression through life. It's like, if I had to practice playing hockey, for 25 years, I'd be Connor McDavid. Yeah. But no, I practiced beating myself up, belittling myself, using drugs, fighting, all that stuff. So it's like, of course, I'm going to be really good at not caring about me. Yeah. I'm going to be really good at using. I'm going to be really good at arguing. I'm going to be really good at being detrimental to anything healthy. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
So I realized that I had to, and that's where that poem came in. I had to walk through that valley of shadow of death again and again to reach this mountain peak of my desire. Because in the mountain peak is learning to love myself. I could have love for you. I could have love for her. I did learn that in recovery, and to be of service to other people and to love other people, but never able to do it for myself.
They call that stages of growth too, right? Because it's like, sure, I got to learn how to be loved a bit, accepted. Okay, I'm going to probably shy off to it. I'm probably going to reject it, rebel against it. And then I got to learn why I'm doing that. I got to learn why this happened, and then this happened, this happened, this happened. And then I got to learn how to be a dad again, a brother, a son. Like, I got to learn all of these things. Like you said, it's like breaking yourself down and being loved back to life and like allowing yourself to grow back up again.
So was it all for nothing?
No, everything that you've done.
I believed it was when I came back.
So I
believed it was all for nothing. I did that, and
I had a relapse about, I don't know, 18 months or whatever, a year and a half roughly ago, right? Yeah. And I was 2.5 years in recovery. You know, like devastated I was. I went to the mission. I'm working at the mission. I show up to the mission. Yeah. Because, you know, I come to Brentwood, I'm like, with no shirt, no shoes on, scared for my life, in complete psychosis. It's like the demons were waiting for me. And I come back here, I'm like, listen, I need help. I don't know where to go. I don't feel safe. I'm in a city I don't even like understand. You know what I mean? And I find drugs at a gas station on the floor. I'm like, now I'm getting high. No one's gonna know, right? Big secret. But I come here. They send me to the mission. My stupid ass thinks, okay, I'm gonna go to my place of employment, right? Like, I don't even think like that. I'm just thinking I want to be safe. I get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you can't go to your place of employment. Well, you're fucked up. Like, I called in sick, for fuck's sakes. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the whole thing, but I needed it. Guess where I'm working now? I'm back as a support worker at the downtown mission. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, let's be real. They recognize that I did care, what my mistakes were. I had to like suffer for 7 months, you know, working some shitty job for minimum wage, but at least I had a job. At least they seen the determination. All these things. I come back into play. I've been there for, I don't know, like 8 months now. So it's like, man, like the beauty will restore. You know, the love will shine through. You know what I mean? Like, all the good things will come back. You just got to really put in the work. You know, it's like the things that I thought that I hated, well, they weren't necessarily stepping stones. They weren't something that I, you know, had to avoid. It's something I had to go through.
You know what they say, and I probably hated the hell out of this, and I love the hell out of this thing now because it's still true. Make sure your twos and twos add up. Your shit. Talk matches your walk.
That's right.
And I live by that. Absolutely live by that.
It's the truth, because you can put on a smoke and mirror show any day of the week. You know, be a Houdini, make the elephant disappear or whatever, whoever did that shit, right? Like, it's all smoke and mirrors. The elephant's still on stage, right? Like,
and because we've been in recovery for a while, we know how to talk. You know, we got the lingo, and we know how to talk a good game.
Well, that's what I always told everybody. I said, man, like, who do I think I'm fooling when I'm around 100 radar detectors? These people are all, like, if I'm going to come here, like, say, relapse, or I'm going to, like, try and lie my way through my addiction, like, they've all done it. They know it. They can see it. Like, who the fuck do I think? I'm only lying to me.
And that's where I look back at now, but during it, didn't even know. Like, my relapse happened well before I even picked up.
That's what they said.
I had all these people who loved me back to life and carried me through these 3.5 years. They're telling me, Q, we're concerned about you.
See?
What the fuck are you concerned about? I'm not getting high. Like, could not hear them. My back went up. And these are people I know loved me and cared me and guided me through these 3 years. Now, all of a sudden, now you're like, you got one off, like, you're just trying to, like, put me down, or you.
And here's the thing, that's where I always say too now, is that I can be there for you, but I can't be there with you. Right? If you're going to make those choices, that's where healthy boundaries come in. That's where these, these self-care, like you said, I love myself enough now that I know I can't be there with you. Like, if those are the choices you're going to make, they probably had to, like, let you go to a distance. Right?
They got to give you that rope.
Guess what? When you're ready to come back, we were waiting for you.
We were waiting for you.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, so like, and I had so many people say, Q, we seen it come. Like, damn, why didn't you tell me? But come on.
They did. They did tell you. They were saying they were worried.
They're telling me they're concerned about me.
Let's get.
But you know what? You know why? I'm in school to be a correctional officer. Like, just arrogance, pride, self-right, like, all of it at the highest level.
That's
I was in.
Ego.
Right? Yeah. I remember even 12-stepping a guy and my person, one of my people, she says to me, she's like, yo, that's not spiritual. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not spiritual? What the hell does it matter for guys or girls? But Didn't understand what she meant. Now I understand.
Women with
I
the
had a damn
women.
crush on the guy.
That's right.
How's that spiritual?
There's misleading.
Yes.
Right.
wasn't spiritual.
I'm only trying to help him. No. You're crushing on him. That's right. That's what they say. Men with the men, women with women.
My relapse happened well before I picked up.
That's right.
Well before I picked up.
And
And then
thinking.
it was just circumstances, right? I was at the casino, ran into somebody there, and was like off to the races.
That's right.
Right?
And that's the thing too, like with the whole motive opportunity, it's like, okay, all right, so I put myself in a negative place, I bump into a negative person, next thing you know, I'm doing negative things.
Yep.
Well,
Because you're not surrounded by,
positivity. If I was
Yeah.
doing positive things, there wouldn't be an opportunity for the
Yeah.
failure. It's going to present itself. Temptation's everywhere. But moving forward, now we're at a place where you're an addictions worker. We're not going to say where, but you've went to school. You're now an addictions worker. You're helping people, and it's like you took this time since I've known you, to come back in the past. I've been here for like 3.5 years. It's like you look at the successions that even I just know about. So maybe you can share some of that with the people. Maybe if there's something, a message that you'd like to, give anybody, or what you would say to people out there still struggling. Maybe lead into that.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, like, I love to think that is because I believed in myself so much, and this is why I try new things. I really had to trust the people in my life, and I kept that circle big. You know what I mean? I kept that circle not big, but just tight. And I leaned on them for everything, like everything. Like I knew they wanted to help. And they were there, so every step of the way, I just included people in things, right? And I couldn't like wholeheartedly say, I'm going to do great at school, I'm going to do great at this, I'm going to do great at that, because I'm working on loving myself, right? So I'm not there yet, right? But I'm just listening to them telling me that you're good at this, Q, you'll be great at that. Q, why don't you just try? If you're in fear, maybe that's a good example of something trying to guide you and say, you know what, try that. Don't run from that. And stay in that fear, let that fear control you.
Right.
Fight that fear by doing exactly
Face
that.
it.
Face it, yes. Face it.
And if you don't know what to do, stand still in it.
There you go.
Yeah, just stand in it. Get comfortable.
So I really trusted that, and I really leaned on people for it. And I mean, all the feelings have started to come later, right? Like, damn, I'm smart. Like, girl, you know what you're doing.
Man, I knew I could.
Yeah, and then I got to have, I had such a narrow way of thinking, right? Only one way, because I truly believed that this was my way and I was meant to be led this way.
Yeah.
And that was okay too, right? But that there's many more too.
Yes.
And I had to open my view to that, right? Which I never done before. Like I never.
You can only see it your way.
Yeah, I only can see it my way.
That's right.
Like it's either this or nothing.
Isn't it a blessing what trust will do?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you too at the beginning of this, but I'm glad we touched on so many different variations of topics. But if there was a topic that hit you the most throughout your time at Brentwood, that like, because we talk about all these different things: self-will, self-pity, forgiveness, love, hope, abiding, discipline, like all these different things, right? That we have topics on, and it's like, was there something that really like
resonated with you? Me?
Yeah, that fucked your day up. All right.
Blindness. Like I came in on blindness.
It's funny that you say that, because we just finished talking about only seeing it one way.
Yeah, blindness. That was it. I mean, because I came in here blaming so many people in my life, thinking it was their fault. If you knew what I've been through in life, and I only shared a couple of traumatic events that happened with me in my life during this podcast, right? I've been through lots, right? So I couldn't wait to waste all of them. And not to take away from the pain that I felt or the trauma that I experienced when I went through these things, but what did I do with that?
That's right.
That's where it affected me the most. That's where I had all the complete blindness.
Right.
It's their fault. It's their fault. It's their fault.
Yeah.
Right? It's what I did with that pain. I used that pain to hurt myself even more.
It's like jumping in front of a truck and saying the guy was driving too fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I couldn't understand that, right? So, I mean, the veils were lifted.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because it's like when they finally are, blindness has a whole new perspective.
Yes.
Right? Same thing with me. I came here on house arrest looking at 6 years. I was in a car crash, caught with 4 scheduled 1 substances, all these things, right? And I'm at a point in my life where I'm finally broken enough to be like, I just can't live that way anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't keep doing what I was doing.
Yes.
I'm like, this is all fucked up. I need to find out, like you said, how do I live? I just want to live. I get here and it's freedom. I'm like, Right. So now I gotta think about freedom. Like, well, I'm not in jail, right? I'm on bail. I'm on house arrest. I'm in a recovery home, so I guess I have some freedom, right? But that's not what the fuck they were talking about. They're talking about giving peace and freedom and joy and happiness to other people in my life. By living the right way, I'm gonna give freedom of heart, freedom of mind, freedom emotionally, mentally, and physically from stress away from my parents. I'm going to take that away and give you the freedom?
Yes.
By making a good choice to stay in a recovery home for the 90 days?
Yes.
Oh, they're at peace now. I can hear it in their voice through phone calls. As permissions going on, I don't have none of those. I don't got no freedom. No. I started looking at it the right way. I'm happy that guy gets to visit his family. I go introduce myself. Hey, how are you doing? My name's Matt. I'm from out of town, but it's nice to see you guys together. I hope you have a good visit, and I'd leave. You know what I mean? Just like popping in and out. I had a lot of friends that I met on program that I got to see grow with their families. That's what I want. Not I don't get that.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yes.
Eventually, maybe one day, hopefully, it's gonna come. And I just believe in that positivity. So listen, I just want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you, and I forgot to tell you this, but like you're the second woman, so hopefully you can like spread the word. You know what I mean? Spread the word. And I'm very, very blessed to have you, and I'm happy that you came and had this talk with me because, and honestly, it's enlightened me throughout this past hour, just enough in my day to probably send me home for the next 3 days and a happy smile on my face, knowing that we accomplished something, right?
I just want to say to you, I'm so honored to be here. I'm so honored that you asked me to do this, right? And it means a lot to me. I'm extremely proud of you too, man. Long damn way, bro.
Give me a hug. Let's close this up.
There you
Thank
go.
you very much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
See, that's what I meant about the anxiety. Don't forget to click, like, and share. Subscribe.